With the postseason a week and a half away, a spectacular night in Philadelphia. And as the Phils fans file in this evening here in Philly, it's 7 wins to get Philadelphia the 4th seed. But the Mets would love to stand in the way. They have played very good baseball against Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, and the Phillies so far this year. We thank you for joining us. Jason Benetti, John Smoltz, Ken Rosenthal is downstairs in a moment. And look, this Phillies offense has been the story all second half long, and it continues to be.
Well, they're clicking, and they're clicking in every way. They can hit with power, they can run the bases, they score runs. Trey Turner's been a big part of that, of course, Harper. But collectively, this lineup is deep, it's dangerous, and you don't want to face them in the postseason. You mentioned that's where they're trying to get. I think the Philadelphia Phillies can do just what they did last year, even out of the wild card position. The starters are really good at the top. Their bullpen's got flamethrowers, and we've already seen what the offense can do.
But they have 7 games left with the Mets, and that's not great news for Phillies fans for sure.
No, I've gone around here and Philly fans are like, great, the Mets are going to cause us problems. And mainly that's because the last year and a half they've been 18-7. Sometimes the club has your number, you can't figure it out. A lot hasn't gone right for the Mets. A lot has gone wrong. They're hoping they can make it tough on Philadelphia.
18-7 the last couple years against the Phillies, and they will have everything to say about what the Phillies do and what number is next to their name in that wild card round. Home field is on the line in this series against the Mets with 7 remaining. First pitch, Phillies and Mets is just around the corner. It is Earth, Wind, and Fire Day, September 21st, and the fantasy for Philly fans is that they end up back in the World Series again this year. They're going Throwback Thursday today, and the plan for Bryce Harper and this team is to get that 4 seed, play a home series, and then take their shot at the 1 seed, whoever that might be. It looks like certainly it's going to be Atlanta.
It's a stretch run. They've been there, and that experience is going to help them get through these last 9 games. And can I just say, those are outstanding uniforms. I love them.
Yeah, top flight. The music is great, too.
That's true, it is.
By the way. For the Phillies, they are +4. As we said off the top, the tiebreakers are a bit convoluted. I kind of just want to listen to music, honestly. The tiebreakers are convoluted.
Yes.
But if you win 7 games, you get the 4 seed. That is the clinching number in terms of the win column. Now, percentage of other teams' losses and a number of other teams' losses will matter. But the way the Phillies do it is 7-3 to guarantee themselves that 4 spot. For the Mets, it's basically been wake me up when September ends.
Yeah.
but they have had their best offensive month so far this season in September. Earth, Wind, and Fire. 5 runs a game for the Mets this month. And Ronnie Mauricio in the 2 spot. We saw O'Neal Cruz with the arm and the exit velocity off the bat. Ronnie Mauricio has the similar kind of power that, if harnessed, he'll be a dude.
They got to find some things out, do the Mets. They got to figure out that rotation. Part of it's going tonight for them, Peterson, and you're going to see some young players possibly make an impact.
Left-hander Ranger Suarez on the mound for Philadelphia, a 3.80 ERA, and they love having him back in his 4th start now from his IL stint.
Yeah, if he could throw a little bit more strikes early in the count, he keeps the ball in the yard, doesn't give up many home runs. He's got a really good curveball. There's the pitch mix. They don't rely on any one, which makes him tough to kind of square up. And he's as cool of a customer as they come. They love his heartbeat, his makeup, and of course what he did last year and closing out a game in the postseason as a starter is pretty cool.
Yeah, runner control is a big part of his game. Marvin Hudson has the plate here tonight. Ryan Blakeney at first. Doug Eddings is at second. And one of the newcomer umpires in recent years, Edwin Jimenez, is over at third. And we are so close to the postseason, we're in long sleeve mode for the umpires now.
Yeah, it's starting to feel that time of the year. Love this time of the year. Some teams, some players growing their playoff beards. We don't see many of them, but the weather lets you know what time of the year it is.
Yeah, it does. And you know what? They've already got Fanatic gear out.
The Fanatic. We've been here. We've done that. Never gets old.
Never gets old. The idea for the Mets this year, when they looked at the schedule to start the year, that it would be for the division, Mets and Phillies. That's not the case, but they can put up a big barrier on Philadelphia. And you know the feeling. One team's going to the playoffs, the other one isn't. There's a little extra here.
No doubt. It's a division rival. The Mets have been not playing out the string. According to their manager, he loves the way these guys have still gone out and played every day, and taken a lot of pride.
Well, they won 6 of 9, and the balance of that against prospective playoff teams. As Rojas in center makes the catch, if you haven't seen Johan Rojas, the bet is he will make a spectacular play at some point tonight.
Fantastic instincts, and nobody has played center field in Rob Thompson's mind in quite some time as good as this young man has broke in and showcased his defense.
Easy one there. And now the 22-year-old Ronnie Mauricio, who spent a good chunk of the year with AAA Syracuse, and he swings at the first pitch to send it out to left, and Pache back to receive out number 2. Quickly 2 down on 4 pitches, and now Pete Alonso, who gets a Philly welcome.
He's doing it again. The batting average not maybe where he'd like, but the home run certainly what you want, and some interesting decisions for the Mets after really coming up to next year and deciding, do they lock him up? Do they keep him in the fold?
Yeah, that could be a decision that extends to the deadline next year. He's got 1 year of team control remaining. And Pete Alonso has said that he just wants to focus on the rest of the season, do as well as he can at the end of the year, and then they'll talk about it when they talk about it and keep it private. That usually doesn't go great in Major League Baseball, I would
Until
say.
it's not private. I mean, somebody somewhere is always going to say something.
This is career against Suarez. Pete Alonso still does not have a hit. He has 3 walks. He's 4 for 25 only against the Phillies overall this year. As that fastball lands in the estimation of the plate umpire Marvin Hudson tonight, 2-1. In the air, right field side. Castellanos is underneath to make the catch. Grand total of 8 pitches. Kyle Schwarber, who leads off once again in this Phillies lineup. Trey Turner behind him, then Bohm and Harper. Real Muto in the 5 spot, Castellanos at 6. This is as deep of a lineup as you're going to see in the top 6, and kind of a lineup built for the postseason with power and speed inside of it.
And they're very streaky, and right now they're on a pretty good stretch. And this guy's one of the streakiest hitters in all of baseball. Of course, he hasn't lived up to the batting average end, but the home runs are there.
David Peterson on the mound, his opposition, as Schwarber takes high. Peterson, 28 years old, really playing for a spot in the rotation next year.
He is, and surprisingly, a lot of ground balls off of Peterson. One of those big, tall, lanky left-handers that if he can kind of get his mechanical sinks going in the right direction, he could be very tough on left-handed hitters, of course.
Why does the height matter? Especially lefty-lefty.
Yeah, the angle that he's throwing the ball from always is getting downhill more, getting that extension. You don't have to throw 97 miles an hour to make the hitter look like the ball's on him.
It's inside ball 4. Buck Showalter said it right when we mentioned Peterson's name. When he's got command of the strike zone, he's good. Sometimes it gets hazy, and it did in the first batter.
Yeah, and that's going to be the key for him, the consistency. He's made some mechanical changes to kind of get away from really the rut that he was in, and there's the pitch mix that he's going to rely on. And again, he does have and does give up a lot of ground balls, and the batting average against a little bit higher than you would want it to be, and therefore you got to believe that's going to even out if he keeps giving up ground balls.
Trey Turner with his great speed in the 2 spot. He was actually hit righties substantially better damage-wise this year than left-handers. And the power of the billboard and the power of the standing ovation continues. Since August the 4th, he has an 1110 OPS.
It's incredible. And I'm telling you, it's a game changer for a lot of organizations and talk radio in those cities. I'm telling you, they're going to adopt the same plan. And if you get a guy that's struggling and it's in a high market, you'll look at these numbers and say, see, this is what can happen. Now, there are some mechanical tweaks he's made to help along the way, but the emotional part of it certainly has connected.
Fouled away. Did you listen to talk radio when you were playing?
Funny you should ask. I did for comedy until it wasn't.
So when was that dividing line?
When they were talking about me in a way that was so false that I called in, and I was riding with Greg Olson, and he said, "You're never going to get in." And I said, "As soon as I hear my name, I will be the first one on the radio."
Did you say this is John Smoltz, or did you say you were like John from Moultrie?
Oh, no. I said, this is John Smoltz. And at the time, there was just this false narrative of the guy talking about being in our clubhouse, noticing something different about me. And he had never been in our clubhouse, and I was not going to let him get away with it.
Really?
Yeah. And so immediately I got in, and I didn't berate him. I didn't do anything other than I just said, "Hey, I was just wondering, why have you never been in our clubhouse?" Called him on step 1.
Mm-hmm.
They also said I played too much golf and is why I was struggling. And I said, "Hey, I got a putting green in my backyard. If you want some lessons, you can come back." That was strike 2. And then they said we weren't going to catch the Giants that year because we were having a tough time.
Check swing. He did not go. Back-to-back walks to open the game for Philadelphia.
And so the third point I talked to him about, I said, I know a lot of fans don't think we're going to catch the Giants, but I'm here to tell you we will catch the Giants. And he definitely held his swing. And his producer made him come to the clubhouse the next day so he could no longer claim those things. And lo and behold, we turned around, catch the Giants. The rest is history. And that was the last time I ever called talk radio.
Was that 93?
Yep.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah, and that wasn't the NFL Greg Olson. That was the baseball Greg Olson, the catcher. And he was in my passenger seat laughing his butt off because I said to him, I said, "You want to hear something funny? Listen to this. This just came into talk radio, just came in to the market." I said, "You're going to laugh at this one," until they were talking about me.
So you were driving.
I was driving
when this happened.
Yeah.
In the air, first base side, Alonso into foul territory, and he does reach to make the catch.
By the way, we talked off air. We are going to be playing fly ball bingo tonight.
Okay.
It's a new game.
Yeah.
I'm going to explain it to you. The outfield already got taken care of.
Okay.
F7, F8, F9. We now have an F3.
Okay.
And the goal of the game is to get everybody to get a pop-up. And if the pitcher gets a pop-up, it's the greatest bingo game ever played.
When I fill out my card completely, what do I get?
You get bingo.
Yeah, but what do I win?
Oh, well, that I'll let you know that off the air.
I'm competitive. I like prizes. Here is Bryce Harper, 2 on, 1 out. 4 outs in the ball game. All are air outs so far. And a first pitch, ball 1. To be clear, though, you do play too much golf. So they did have that right.
Yeah,
that was
it was
one
a
of the
good
3.
thing, though. It's a good thing that cardio and everything about it. 21 years.
Yeah. No, I'm there with you, but I am on their side in one of the 3 strikes. It should be 0-2 at the very, very worst for them. 1-0. And it's fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Every game here for the Phillies is against a team that's under 500. 7 against the Mets, 3 against the Pirates. So if they can pluck 7 wins, they don't have to worry about anybody else losing.
Right.
That said, you'd almost rather not play a rival, I kind of feel like, in a situation like this.
No doubt. And honestly, I mean, I know the schedule is the schedule, right? The problem with playing teams that are under 500 and not going to the postseason, they can kind of play reckless. They don't really follow the protocols. Now, they'll play their guys out of respect to play it, the right way. But you do play those dangerous teams that want to disrupt your journey to the postseason.
And as you're trying to evaluate what a team's going to do running in certain situations, you kind of throw out the book from earlier in the year, I would have to imagine.
Yeah, you do. There's that good late 2-seam action that gets a lot of ground balls. And he buried it inside to Bryce Harper.
Harper over at first base. First base DHing for the most part nowadays. As this is lobbed to right field and down for a base hit. Schwarber gets the stop sign at third. They are loaded for Philadelphia with 1 out here in the first, and Real Muto coming up.
Well, this would be a good sign for Rob Thompson as his team comes back about as good as anybody. And he would love to start seeing them jump on teams early and get the lead and not worry about that comeback. Tough read. Got to make sure Schwarber's not the most fleet of foot, but you got a good hitter at the plate in JT, and you trust he's going to get the ball up in the air at least to get 1 run in.
He is once again worn out left-handed pitching this year, and he went after a first pitch fastball.
This situation they've done against JT a lot, and because we've done so many Philly games, I see that second base side of the field wide open, and he's gotten a lot of hits to right field, but they still keep shading him that way.
There you see.
And against right-handers, he does it as good as anybody. He'll get a base hit there just at will. Left-handers would be a little harder because he's got that fade changeup to get him the ground ball. They're looking for that double play ball to short.
So what are you not throwing to him with this alignment here?
I'm not throwing him a fastball away.
How about a fastball up? Strike 3, 2 down.
Really good fastball up in the zone after getting him to swing and through and up on a pitch that he's trying to drive, and that's how you combat a guy trying to get the ball up in the air. Just throw it a little higher than he's wanting to swing at.
So here's Nick Castellanos, who had a very interesting play yesterday against Atlanta. In foul territory, he makes a catch, and then he unleashes a throw on a ball that really most players would not have caught in a key situation.
Yeah, situation being 1 out, man on third, the winning run at third, and your instincts tell you to go catch the ball, but everybody in the dugout was probably hoping he didn't. But he surprised everybody by catch, turn, throw out at the plate. Here's the play. I mean, just really incredible to think that this would have been the game winner. And a pretty good runner at third base, but he makes a good throw up the line that gets to the catcher in time. And the Phils go on to win in extra innings.
Just an outstanding play, and a play that Rob Thompson told us. He said, I knew he was going to catch it. Other guys would have thought about not catching that, and Castellanos himself said the devil on his shoulder won, basically. Don't catch it, don't catch it. No, 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 do catch it. I think I can make the play.
Yeah, well, he definitely did, and that was a big win for Philadelphia. They took 2 out of 3 after the Braves came here and took 3 out of 4.
Early huge spot for the Phillies. 23 pitches deep in the inning for Peterson against Castellanos, who's 1 driven in short of 100.
That's a great pitch right there. I mean, that is an aggressive hitter. Castellanos usually goes after that. This just dives in, and you would think he'd swing over the top.
Off that take, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Inside a fastball. Snap throw to first is not in time. Alonso a bit late on a high throw tag. But Alvarez, the 21-year-old catcher, feeling frisky early.
Yeah, that's a signaled play that you allow the first baseman, and the timing of this to happen. The throw's down, they got a chance, the throw is up. And now 3-2 merry-go-round. Everybody will be going.
Last 2 pitches, slider, fastball. 3-2 breaking ball into center field. It's a hit for Castellanos. And the Phillies have the early lead.
2 out runs and 2 out RBIs are backbreakers for the opposing pitcher. And this right here, after he laid off a great pitch, he got a breaking ball outside for ball 4. But the aggressive hitter and the style of hitter he is, hits it up the middle and guaranteed 2 runs with everybody moving on the pitch.
You know, we talked to Buck Showalter in the context of that catch yesterday about Nick Castellanos. But that is the offensive version of that catch,
yes.
Right? 3-2 breaking ball off the plate. That's my pitch, he says.
Yeah, and it's ball 4 easily. But he's able to barrel up pitches that most guys can't. And at the same time, super aggressive, swing and miss a lot. But he's a hit machine. That's what he wants to be when he gets in the box.
Well, he picked up number 100, number 101 in the RBI count, 26 pitches. And the 2 opening walks, it looked like, as you said, he might be able to pitch around it. Instead, it's here we go again.
If you want to know why the Phillies are better off this year at the same point as they were last year in the position they're going to be in the postseason, it's this guy at the plate and the length of their lineup.
Bryson Stott takes ball 1.
Bryson Stott has been the complete player of progress. He has gotten better each and every month, and last year, of course, was a little overmatched. But Rob Thompson loves this guy, calls him a baseball player, and he has produced along with Marsh.
And you don't have to take him out of the lineup with a left-hander on the mound. He's hit very well against left-handed pitching this year.
He's done a great job. I mean, these are what you're looking for when you leave spring training. You need surprises. You need your great players to be great. And the only missing thing for these Phillies to be dominant is the consistency, or in this case, the inconsistency of their bullpen. The arms they have in the bullpen are so good, collectively probably the best in baseball, but they haven't been able to really put it together to the point where they've got fear in the opposing players when these guys come to the mound.
To give them a chance in the postseason, the starters, I would imagine you'd say, need to give them more length than they've had recently.
Yeah, and they will. I mean, Zach Wheeler is a stud. Aaron Nola pitched a really good game the other day. You got Suarez, who's on the mound. You've got a lot of options.
In the air, third base side, Beatty is back on it, and he does make the catch.
F5 for bingo. We're almost there.
Hey, early bingo for the Phillies. Line drive center field. Rob Thompson called him a free spirit. He's got a free 2-0 lead. Cast is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect the stuff you love with Renter's Insurance. 2001, Mike Piazza, the home run against the Braves, first professional sporting event in New York after September the 11th. And Mike Piazza, 8th inning off of Steve Carsey, one of the most memorable hits events in sports. After all that happened,
you
were
know
there,
what?
right?
I was there, and I had a front row seat, well, actually a bullpen seat. I was getting ready to pitch the ninth. It was one of those few times in sports and competition that you were kind of glad it worked out the way it did, given the circumstances that were surrounding it. I've never seen and been a part of a more gratifying, electrifying, nervous, anticipated crowd of New York as they played that first game after the tragedy that we all know is 9/11.
You're one of the most competitive people I've ever met.
Yep.
In everything you do. To hear you say that is jarring.
It was. We felt that way. Never shook hands before the game. Never shook hands, you know, afterwards. And you know, you tried to do your best to win, but you just felt it. Like that place was full of electricity, anticipation. Nobody knew going there what to expect.
Yeah.
There was a lot of anger. There was a lot of support for people that were going through a whole lot, and it just really was the first part of getting back to life. And that home run, that was a movie. Like if you scripted it, that's the way it should have gone, and we all kind of felt that way when all things were said and done.
Do you remember the bus ride to the ballpark?
Oh yeah, I honestly, I remember getting on the plane and going, I don't know about this.
Really?
Yeah. It just, in our lifetime, nothing had ever been interrupted like that. You know, a week, 7, 8 days with nothing, never a plane in the sky, and just you're working out, wondering when you're going to get back to playing baseball.
And with so many other things top of mind as well.
But going to that city for that first game back, and just knowing what had happened not too far down the road from your hotel. Baseball that night was secondary. Maybe even third.
Left side, past a diving ball into left field. A base hit off of Suarez for Francisco Lindor. Downstairs, Ken Rosenthal, you were there that day as well, right?
Unforgettable, Jason. And I remember actually the home run, yes, but also, John, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Liza Minnelli singing New York, New York with cops, with firemen. It was an amazing scene that night all around. And yes, there was an electricity, there was a tension that was unlike any you've ever experienced at a ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things obviously I'm going to forget over the course of my 21-year career. Never will forget that. Never. And neither will any player that stood on the line for that national anthem and that rendition of it.
Kenny, from your seat, when that was going on, when she was singing, what'd you feel?
Just a lot of emotion, Jason. And obviously the whole country had experienced the heartbreak of what had happened on that day. And John's right. This was the first step toward getting back to normal life. And a lot of people, including myself, really including everyone in the ballpark, I think, were nervous that night. People didn't really feel comfortable going out in a big crowd. But at the same time, what a show it was, the game itself, and Piazza's home run, it will live forever.
Kenny, thank you. 2 strikes on Mark Vientos here. And it, again, you know, they're totally different circumstances, but what happened in the world a couple of years ago with COVID, and obviously the loss was different in a different way. But baseball has always been there to come back to, and the energy, and it just struck me what Kenny said there is that is strike 3 called. There's one away. Baseball quite often is the first time we all get back together.
Yeah, there's, you know, it signifies a lot of things on your calendar, but it was a man, it was so interesting to see your teammates in a different way, to just experience life in a different way. And that's at the end of the season, getting ready for the postseason.
Runner goes from first. Lindor, throw down to second base is not in time. Building on a career high, 29 steals for Lindor.
Well, with the catchers in situation that we talked about, Suarez does such a good job holding runners. He got a huge jump, and all that JT could do was throw from his knees, and it really was a pretty darn good throw, but the speed of Lindor beat it.
Tell you what, Real Muto can close some ground from behind the plate with his pop time. He and Stubbs are both top 5 in Major League Baseball. It's funny talking to Buck Showalter. He was like, I got a couple things I just want to watch as a fan. It's Rojas in center field, but he's enamored with how quickly the ball comes out from behind the plate for the Phillies as well. Third base side, that's fair, inside the bag and off the sidewall. So the Mets do have their first run. Play is at second on McNeil, and he's in there safely.
Wow, what a great effort to get him at second base. I mean, McNeil, of course, last year just hit machine. This year, not quite as much. But the Mets, as we sit it, trying to be aggressive, taking a base, getting back in the game, and he took an aggressive turn to second. But watch how quickly that caroms off, and he makes a direct throw, one hop, but the slide beats him there.
One in, one out, and there's ball one low from Suarez to Alvarez. And Jeff McNeil, one of those guys, and we knew it going into the season that the lack of shift and his ability to beat the shift, he was losing some value in a unique skill set that he had coming into this year.
Yeah, and talking to him, he was always amazed that he got shifted anyways. Like, it really was. He's got tremendous hands, great. You can see the fall off this year from a batting average that was pretty good last year. But his style of hitting just led him to, like, you're going to shift me, I'll hit it the other way. By the way, speaking of golf, that dude is a legit +3 handicap.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You've golfed with him, I take it.
Oh, yeah. He can bomb it.
As he took the extra base there, I was thinking about the conversation that we had with Buck before the game about what the playoffs look like, just in terms of volume of stolen bases.
Right.
What do you think this postseason looks like?
I think, well, especially if, let's say the Diamondbacks get in, that's how they're going to win.
Sky high right center field. Castellanos leaning over to make the catch.
Because that's how they're in this position. They make it a nightmare for pitching staffs to try to deal with that lineup. And if I were in the position that some of these teams are going to be getting into, I would be pushing the envelope as much as possible. And don't buy into that kind of fear factor of what could happen, because you can make chaos for some other teams that are going to be pretty much favored against them and make their life miserable.
Well, look, the Braves have made a season out of going up 1-0.
Right.
Either with a home run from Acuna or a single that becomes a double because of a stolen base, whatever it might be. And as Buck put it, teams get tighter. They
do.
Get more risk averse in the postseason generally. But I do wonder if that's going to be the case this postseason.
I think it will. I just think that there's no reason to change.
Ground ball second base. That trickles through past a very good defender in Stott, and the Mets have tied the ball game. Brett Beatty drives in the second run.
Yeah, just hit them where they're not, and the Mets bounce right back. And again, just the theme with the Philadelphia Phillies has been a little unorthodox on how they go about their wins, a lot of comebacks, but I'm sure Rob Thompson would like to see some blowouts here. He'd like to see his offense get ahead and stay ahead and make it a little less stressful.
Yeah, but what fun would that be for all the fans?
That's true. The fans get to experience the anxiety that Rob Thompson doesn't usually show.
It's another hit by pitch for Tim LeCastro. That's the 42nd of his career.
And what's special about that? I know you like something about these stats.
We were just talking about this before the game. he's had 600 or so plate appearances, right, in his major league career. So we asked our friends at Sport Radar, 550 plate appearances. How many guys in major league history, and LeCastro's one of them, 36 walks, 42 plunkings. How many guys in major league history have had more hit by pitches than walks at that amount of plate appearances? 5 guys.
5 guys.
5 guys. And 2 of them are in the ballpark.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Today.
Yeah.
Edmundo Sosa is one of the 5.
That's not what I would have gone with.
Who would you have thought?
I don't think I would have picked him out of that grouping, but you know, it's a little easier when you have your arm and elbow guard on and you could just lean that arm over there, you know, which I'm a little torn between, I'll be honest.
You sound skeptical of the hit by pitch leaders.
Well, you know, whatever it takes to get on the base, but I'm just saying, if he did that without arm guards, then I'm like saluting. You're getting your arm out of the way if you don't have an arm guard.
But you're allowed to wear them.
I know. I'm not complaining about the rule.
Sound a little like you might possibly be complaining as a pitcher, but you know what? I don't sense bias very well. Stott throws out Nimmo. The Mets have tied the game. Jeff McNeil, RBI single, Brett Beatty, and a 2-2 score into the bottom of the second inning as Johan Rojas stands in 52 games at the major league level for Rojas, and he has already built, according to defensive runs saved, 14 total, and that's a stat that it matters how many games you've played.
It does, and he, again, future's bright in this ballpark alone because of the space he has to cover. I mean, this is one of the unique angles and changing of directions. You got to cover a lot of ground in center field, not so much in left and obviously not so much in right.
You know, Rob Thompson was talking about why the +14, why the metrics love him. He said, look, the routes are just pristine. They're direct to every ball.
Yeah, he doesn't take any what he called banana routes where he kind of circles around and gets to the ball and makes up for it with his speed, his instincts, and his ability to go direct line. First step is so key for center fielders, for defense in general, for baseball.
You played with one of those in center
best.
field.
I think he's the best. Look, again, I'm just talking about who I got to see. Now, I didn't get to see the great Ken Griffey Jr. much because we didn't have interleague, and he was in the other league, so I can't really comparatively make that distinction. But
strike three, Rojas is down.
I'm going to tell you right now, Andrew Jones rarely had to dive for a ball and rarely misplayed one, and he was fantastic.
One down. Hey, stream every out-of-market game live or on demand. Don't miss the race to the postseason, now only $29.99. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
I'll tell you who's also one of the most underrated center fielders, Kenny Lofton Jr. I mean, Kenny Lofton, period.
Yep.
Still on Ken Griffey Jr. But Kenny Lofton, we got to play with him for a year and change, and obviously for Cleveland.
I'm contractually obligated to ask because I'm covering college football. How was Deion?
Deion was amazing. I mean, the greatest athlete I've ever seen. Again, just so fast and covered up. Not only took away the whole left side or right side of the football field, but he made up what he did is he made up with pure athleticism where he didn't have the instincts yet for baseball, didn't play enough. He just was that much. He's faster than any ball could ever get to any area, and certainly on the base pass, you've never seen anything like it.
I loved watching Jim Edmonds play center field.
Jim was a good one too. I mean, there's just some great center fielders, and back in the day, most of the parks were symmetrical and had like two-way baseball and football being played there. So now you got parks that are different.
Wave and a miss. Strike three. He went away from the fastball. 2 down on strikeouts from Peterson. And now here comes Kyle Schwarber. 46 singles, 45 home runs. It is a race to the finish to see who's going to win in that category.
It's just amazing, though, to see those kind of numbers. And if you blindfolded the batting order and you had to pick where you thought those numbers fit, it wouldn't be in this spot. It wouldn't be a leadoff hitter. But that's exactly what he's been for most of the time now for the Phillies.
He is part of the reason they are 7th in baseball in first inning differential. And when you have an early lead, that can affect the other team's bullpen strategy and confidence.
Yeah, we talked about how streaky he is, but he's number one. He's number one in every category offensively, with the caveat of this: batting averages 200 or under.
That's right. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Peterson, great bounce back. He strikes out the side of the second inning and carries a 2-2 tie into the third. Top of the third here in Philadelphia with Ken Rosenthal downstairs, John Smoltz, Jason Benetti, as Ronnie Mauricio adores the first pitch tonight. Twice he's flied out on the first pitch, once to left, once to center, conveniently for those playing bingo. And Pete Alonso will come up.
Pete Alonso, I've been blown away by a guy who, we all know what he did in the home run derbies, and just wants to. This guy wants to be the best power hitting player in baseball. And by George, I think he might just prove everybody that he is over the next 5 years.
Yeah, hey, look, he's a kid that got made fun of growing up for being a bigger guy. He's talked about that very publicly, and now suddenly he's a home run away from tying for fourth place in Mets history. And you see, first 5 seasons, not many people in that category.
No.
Question is, how long will he be a Met?
Right.
Outside 3-1. That wouldn't be as much of a question if the Mets were going to the playoffs this year.
That's correct. And that's where everybody thought they were headed.
Ball 4 downstairs. Ken.
Well, this will be a really interesting decision on Alonso. The Mets do have a new president of baseball operations coming in, David Stearns, and ultimately he will be the one deciding. And Alonso will hit the open market after next season at age 30. That's what he's scheduled to do. And some people might consider that a risk. 30-year-old first baseman, long-term, no good. But Alonso, like Aaron Judge, has proven he can thrive in New York. And go back to the Paul Goldschmidt deal, $26 million a year in St. Louis. Freddie Freeman, $27 million a year in L.A. Those guys were in their early 30s. Pete Alonso, he would be a good player to sign, I believe.
Totally agreed, Ken. And you read about what happened with him as this losing was happening for the Mets. And he went into Buck Showalter's office and he said, "I'm sorry. This is not the guy who I typically am. I've not been consistent enough." And Buck was like, you don't have to tell me that. Like, I understand. And he cares so much about winning that it feels like that's the kind of guy you want if you're going to rebuild something.
Yeah, no doubt.
In the air, left field, Pache is there.
The one thing about being passionate, you know, sometimes you can be so passionate that it gets in the way of execution, but when you're passionate, that means you care and you're going to do everything you can to correct or get to the level you expect. And those levels right there are pretty good.
I think that those two guys that we're looking at both have that same characteristic in spades.
No doubt. They go about it in a little different way, but you're absolutely right.
And Bryce Harper now getting to have all those conversations you get to have at first base nowadays. In the air, right field, Castellanos coming toward the line. Now he stops and makes a catch to retire the side. 3 flyouts here in the third. We're tied at 2. Bottom 3 here in Philadelphia, and Trey Turner to bat, then Alec Bohm and Bryce Harper coming up. The first pitch breaking ball from Peterson.
I've said this every time. I think Trey Turner is one of the most gifted players in all of baseball, and if he can keep laying off those early pitches and just create more favorable counts for himself, you're going to see a 300 batting average, a 50 to 70 stolen base year, and the power is going to come. But right now, that aggressiveness, and you see the most hits since 2018, that aggressiveness and willing to hit creates some swing and miss and strikeouts and lack of walks.
Two balls and a strike on Trey Turner, who did walk in the first inning. They let Peterson get erratic, and it paid off for the Phillies, getting a couple of runs. Peterson called back up from AAA Syracuse when those deals went down to send Verlander out and Scherzer out. And he had 10 strikeouts in his last start against Cincinnati. That is a career high for him. He's done 4 times now. Smoke to third, and Beatty gets in front, holding the line. That ball was a meteor.
Wow. Again, I'm just guessing. 111 off the bat is what I would guess. That is a smoked one hopper. Oh, wow.
You said what?
111.
That's exactly what it was.
You know what? I'm
Terrifying.
starting to think I'm getting good at this game.
What's wrong with you? So the league batting average on balls hit 111 this year?
Let me guess. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. 111, 465.
791.
I wasn't finished.
Plus 300. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. And that usually comes from, obviously, a bad pitch and a squared up baseball equals good things for the hitter, right? And that one's one of the few you're not going to see get rewarded.
I mean, Buck Showalter was enamored with the exit velocity, the average exit velocity for the Phillies before the game. As that's clipped off his body. That's a foul ball. 2-2. I like when you go into Buck Showalter's office and he's like, as a fan, I want to watch this. I want to watch that. He's a baseball fan. They are 4th. The Phillies are 4th in average exit velocity. They're 2nd in the National League behind only Atlanta.
Yeah, and that's how you lessen the bad years for the Mets. If offensively they stay connected, right, and they could figure out their starting pitching. I mean, they had such a high I mean, there was so much expectation for this team. Of course, the payroll through the roof. It didn't work. We've all documented that. But I don't think the lag time is going to be as great as people think. I'm on the blue.
Oh boy,
man,
Alec Bohm.
I'm on the belief system that it isn't going to be one of these 3-year. I think they can get back to relevance quicker than maybe people think.
Kenny was talking about that when we had the Mets in New York last month, that it might not just be, as that looked like it got him maybe right above the shin guard.
Never. Almost felt like it got him on the side of the calf. Hey, this guy, by the way, has cut down his strikeouts, and he's been able to really make the most of it and get a lot more production.
Did you say production? In the air to left field and gone! Off his body, then out of the ballpark.
You know, I sometimes when you get a lower part of your body that gets hit in the mechanics of hitting, it sometimes makes you stay back because you can't get in front because you just smoked your shin or your calf. And you see how he stayed back. Everything's firm at the bottom. And now the calf or the shin doesn't hurt as much rounding the bases.
That is so interesting. You could see that as a pitcher, that guys sometimes were better off in terms of staying back after they fouled the ball off their body.
Yeah, because you just can't. Your lower body is so active sometimes, and that doesn't mean it's always good. You got to have that front foot down, and when your front foot just got pelted, you're softer with it. Just psychologically, you're like, I know he's going to come back in here, and I want to get the bat head to the ball. Because pitchers are cruel. When somebody fouls a ball off there, they go right back there, or try to. I mean, it's human nature to kind of expose the.
Yeah, notably, you said they go back there instead of I used to go back there all the time.
Well,
so you would never dare.
I don't want to talk about myself here on the air, so I would just say that.
It's what we call leaning into it. 0-2 for Harper. That is crushed into center field. Look out, Doug Eddings, the second base umpire. Bryce Harper is 2 for 2. Doug had to hop.
Well, after 3 strikeouts the inning before, some hard hit balls already. The one by Turner got an out, the homer, and now Harper with a base hit. I'd be careful on this first pitch, especially when JT struck out on a high fastball.
He swung at the first pitch last time, and he takes a fastball away there. This inning, 111, 101, 109. The miles an hour off the bat of those Philly throwbacks.
So here's the pitch that he fouls off, and obviously doesn't feel good, off the shin and inner side of his calf. Okay, and then look how he stays back, and the leg, everything landing perfectly, and gets rewarded right after the pitch before. I have not seen a water bottle like that though in a long time.
Hey, stay
That's
hydrated.
impressive.
Most home runs, first 153 games for Philadelphia. They're closing in on a big number. 2 homers a game in the last couple of months for the Phillies. Yank foul. See, all the sting of the foul ball turned into a big old smile for the last 3 minutes or so.
Grimace to elation.
1-2. We've seen a lot of 2-strike foul balls, I was going to say.
Yeah, and I want to tell you something.
Yeah, what do you got?
Last time I was here, I kind of cowardly got away from a foul ball. I'm prepared to catch the foul ball the next time it comes up in this booth.
You are.
I am.
So my question would be, what happened?
It was hit at about 110 coming this way. And honestly, I went for the ball, and then I realized it was going to get right in the corner of our booth, and I saw fractured fingers in my future and no golf being played. So I pulled back, and this time I just feel like I'm more prepared. And
so you weren't prepared that time?
I was not. I'll be honest. I was looking at my monitor, and next thing I see this thing coming right at us, and this is a perfect booth to get a foul ball. Actually,
it is. Yeah. So you be prepared. I'll be under the table. 2-2. Little bit low. 3-2. 12 foul balls in the inning already. As a pitcher, what goes through your mind, especially when you don't get a pitch like this?
Yeah, what goes through your mind is I got to find a way to get a swing and miss, right, or a ground ball. We haven't seen many ground balls, and I talked about his ability to get ground balls. So I think right now the elevated pitch and the pitch too much in the strike zone. They were hitting a high percentage, a high average with Peterson when he's in the strike zone.
Three and two.
There it is.
Punch to right field, a base hit. Real Muto sticks out the bat, gets a base hit, and runners are at the corners for Philadelphia.
Yeah, and an inning where high exit velocity has been the story. That low exit velocity, but perfectly placed ball to that vacant second base spot. Talked about it the first time up. He swung and missed, but this time he did not miss and got rewarded for a base hit.
That's 3 two-strike hits in the inning. Bohm on 2-2, Harper on 0-2, and Real Muto on a full count. Hey, this week starts Saturday strong with Big Noon Saturday. Dylan Gabriel leads number 16 Oklahoma into the first conference matchup for Cincinnati in the Big 12. Big Noon kickoff crew gets it started live from Cincinnati, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Then it's Sooners Bearcats Saturday at noon Eastern on Fox. It's a lot of pitches for 3 innings.
That is a lot of pitches, and this club can do it to you. Look, the weakness of every club has a weakness offensively. If there's a weakness for the Philadelphia Phillies, expanding the strike zone, swing and miss too much. They can strike out a lot, but on the flip side of that, they can hit a lot of home runs.
Jeff Brigham getting loose in the Mets bullpen. First pitch swing. And a foul ball from Castellanos. So the 3 hits in this inning are with 2 strikes. The 2 hits in the first inning were with 2 strikes. Every hit with 2 strikes today.
Yeah, and that is something you got to get better at and make adjustments for next year.
First base side, foul territory.
We needed it for bingo.
I think we have a 3.
Oh wow, you do. We didn't need it for bingo.
You're one of those guys who 067 comes up like 3 hours earlier and you don't call it because you think 067 hasn't come up. Then you look over next to you and Mildred's got 067 covered up, and you, competitive John Smoltz, just got beat.
That's right.
Throw to first. And Real Muto is back. Bryson Stott, who's next for Philadelphia, by the way, leads the league in 2-strike hits. And he doesn't even have one of the 2-strike hits tonight. In the air right field. McNeil is back. He's at the warning track and he makes the catch. Here comes Harper from third, and the Phillies add on. It's 4-2.
It's just good old-fashioned hitting and gets rewarded with an RBI.
I don't know about you. If I'm a National League team, I have no interest in playing the Phillies in the postseason.
No, I've been saying it. Look, they got off to a slow start. A lot of contributing factors to that. Oh, wow.
Jam City.
But they're actually in a better spot as a team, even though they're in the identical situation almost at this point as last year.
Very productive year for Castellanos. Part of that early in the season has to be the ricochet effect of the Rhys Hoskins injury.
No doubt. I mean, their lineup, people were kind of looking at the East as, all right, whoever pitches the best in the East, because you got the Braves lineup, you had the Mets lineup, you had Philadelphia, of course. The Marlins have done a nice job. They're in the mix. The only team, you felt probably wasn't going to be in a playoff picture was Washington.
And they've been annoying to teams in the East. Davey Martinez done a great job.
He sure has. But the Philadelphia Phillies have lost some crazy close games. And the trends you would think can't continue with the way they were losing the games, which would buckle most teams and fracture a season. It hasn't. And that's a tribute to Rob Thompson and what they went through last year. You're talking about I think until recently, and it might still be alive, their last 6 comebacks in the ninth that they didn't win, they lost in the extra innings. That's amazing. That's not going to keep going.
You wouldn't imagine so. And they still do have comeback wins outside of that as well. As there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Stott goes down on a high heat. 2 runs across in the inning. Alec Boehm nearly knocked himself out of the game. And then he takes Peterson deep. 4-2 Phillies. Cast is sponsored by Jardiance. Beautiful Philadelphia. A lot of great sports being played here right around now. Eagles, Sixers, Phillies hoping to get to the postseason, clinch that playoff spot. A lot of tiebreakers in play, making the magic numbers real convoluted, but we can tell you with 7 wins in their last 10 games, they will be the 4 seed guaranteed in the National League, which would put them in a home field situation for that wild card round, which Rob Thompson very much wants. He told us he's not going to start stacking rotations, bullpens, anything until they get the 4 seed.
No, it's very important to get the 3 home games here in this crazy ballpark with electric fans, and they do a great job just kind of firing up the fans. I think this weekend might be sold out, but as we get closer to the postseason, Philadelphia will be a tough place to come play if in fact they do get those 3 home games.
2-2 on McNeil, who's been swinging a better bat here in the second half of the season after the All-Star break. He had an RBI double off the sidewall in left in the second inning. There you see 7 home runs the last 47 games. Line drive right field, and that is fair. He tested the left side boundary, now the right field chalk, and he wants 3. McNeil turns on the Jets, and he is in there standing up. That is why he wins batting titles.
Exactly, and that's why you can't play him in any kind of one place in the field. He can turn and burn on a pitch in, and he can go the other way like he did. So he's basically picked on both sides of the field, left field for a double and right field for a triple, and could be, I don't know. I mean, you get a double and triple out of the way in your first 2 at bats, you start thinking
Yeah, look, singles are fairly easy to come by. The home run ball he's hit, we've seen. And now it's fish in a barrel, really, to bring in that run. The Phillies are going to play the infield back deep in the middle, about halfway in at first with Harper. And this from Alvarez into center field. Rojas is on it, and McNeil comes home. Exactly how you'd love to handle a leadoff triple. Productive out makes it 4-3.
Well, this is twice now. I mean, the Phillies opened up with a 2-0 lead. The Mets came back and tied it. They got a 2-run lead again, and now the Mets are threatening to tie it again, scoring one here. We look like this could be a good. There's a bunch of different games we could play tonight. You know, we already talked about fly ball bingo. We got the area code game already. Philadelphia's contributed.
Chopper first base side, and that is a fair ball. It's a fair ball. Beatty didn't know it at first, and there are 2 away.
Yeah, this almost, the pitcher sometimes, all he has to remember is he's just got to tag the runner. Watch how he gets the ball. Right? Beatty didn't know it at first. And you can get lulled into sleep sometimes. That runner is, if he's flying down the line, he could have beaten out that toss.
We saw it with the Cubs and Pirates last year, remember?
Absolutely. So,
the chase to first base. You walk him all the way back to the plate.
That'll never happen again in the history of baseball because of that. That'll be like a seminar. That's a video they show.
We don't have enough blooper reels anymore.
No.
We definitely don't. 2-0 on LeCastro, who was hit by a pitch last time. First base side, foul territory, and Harper watches it go foul.
So we got fly ball bingo, and then we've got the scoreboard, first 3 innings, middle 3 innings, last 3 innings for the area code game. Philadelphia's dialed into Washington, D.C., 202. I believe that's correct.
Yep. 201 is Jersey.
201 is Jersey. If you go through those second 3, I mean, there's many ways to play. You can play it in a string of 3. It doesn't have to be but the most pure way to play it is right there, 202.
You know what I'm amazed by, John? You're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
What I'm amazed by is that you had the amount of focus on the mound, considering the way you watch a baseball game.
Oh, absolutely.
That you could zone in as well as you did on the mound.
Yeah.
Because you're like,
you know, I could be like,
look what's
squirrel
over there.
Squirrel over there. Squirrel.
Well, he just scored. McNeil just scored. 3-2. Called strike 3. I love it. Most focused on the mound. Watch a game. Squirrel. Squirrel. There's squirrel. Bottom 4 in Philadelphia, and the Phils by a run. Here's Rojas, who we documented is a tremendous young center fielder, just 23 years old. But Rob Thompson has also said that the at-bats are very much growing on him.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give him some time to continue to make adjustments in the big leagues and figure out what kind of style and how he processes information. But you kind of get super excited about the potential if he gets on base enough. You already know what he can do defensively. He's going to steal a lot of bases.
2 balls and a strike. 23 years old, debut season in the major leagues. He already has 13 steals in 14 tries in 52 games. And that combination of tremendous defensive center fielder and a lot of steals pays better now than it did 365 days ago.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. I think there's going to be a lot of organizations taking the offseason to kind of retool their thinking and philosophy of what has just taken place this year with the rule changes.
Strike 3, breaking ball down near the dirt, and the throw will go to first for strikeout number 6 for Peterson. This is highest stolen base percentage in the divisional era. So 2023 has taken a massive leap, and it's not going anywhere.
No, that's why I think you got to stay, like you got a chart of all the things you want to do differently. Number 1 on my chart would be teaching the pitchers to be able to be a little bit better at holding on runners, because it ain't going anywhere. This is going to be here to stay. And so if you've got a bad pitching staff of slow deliveries, you're going to be up against it on a lot of teams that know how to get on base and steal.
Most stolen bases in Major League Baseball since 1987. Right now.
Yeah, and it was in a blink of an eye. It was the rule change that changed philosophy. You can't make people change their philosophy just by telling them, hey, you need to change your philosophy. The rule change made it to where now rosters that were available and athletically inclined, they benefited. And there's going to be roster spots that are going to have to be filled with some of these guys that nobody was putting on their rosters before. And that's good for those guys who have the speed and the talent and the combination to do both defense and speed.
And pretty soon we're going to have a whole league full of guys who this is all they've known is the pitch timer and the disengagement rules and everything that goes along with it. But when we started this year, there were veteran guys who never have dealt with anything like this.
That's correct. And, you know, I think those off-season kind of retooling, rethinking, you're going to see some benefits from it certainly next year.
1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And I keep harping on this because I keep looking for certain things that I thought I would see. I thought I'd see a few more pitch outs to kind of combat the stolen bases. Haven't really seen any of those. I thought I'd see runners at first.
Second base and Mauricio.
Thought I'd see runners at first try to entice that third throw by just getting one-way leads. That didn't happen so far.
Here's Schwarber downstairs, Ken.
Well, Kyle Schwarber coming up to the plate could set a somewhat dubious mark. Lowest batting average ever in a 40 home run season. But Phillies hitting coach Kevin Long has told him, Kyle, count your walks as singles. If you do that, 123 walks, 46 singles, that's 169 singles. It's really not an unreasonable point. He is second in the majors in walks, only to Juan Soto. 345 on base percentage coming into tonight. That's 25 points above the league average.
Yeah, there are just different ways to evaluate guys now. It's a great point by Kenny. When you do the numbers, you can see why Schwarber is up in the 1 spot based on the on-base percentage.
No, I get that part, but the fact that there are some guys that can get on base and cause more havoc, that to me is more valuable.
So the situation we saw in the first inning rang that bell in my mind. You have Turner and Schwarber both walk, and then you have Schwarber getting to third on the Harper single. if they're reversed.
Absolutely.
And that happened, specifically that situation happened. It's 1-0 early.
Exactly.
But the amount of times he puts you up 1-0 with a homer to lead off the game gets you value as well.
Yeah, and I guess I kind of am coming close to understanding that over 162, but that goes away for me in the postseason. And the reason I say that is the threat and the way the game is being now from a pitcher standpoint. You don't scare me as much leading off with a home run.
Called strike 3. Schwarber didn't like a strike in his last at bat. This one he's not terribly fond of either. But it's a 1-2-3 inning for Peterson. A tight ball game in Philly. Four innings for David Peterson so far. He has carried the Mets to a 4-3 score into the fifth. We'll see if he is finished for the day, as the Phillies just kind of ground him down with foul ball after foul ball. As Suarez, who signed for $25,000 initially with the Phillies out of Venezuela, and has turned himself into a big part of this team, closing out the NLCS last year. Chopper right back to him. He's ready for it. And Suarez to first. Sunday, huge doubleheader on Fox. Derek Carr and the Saints against Jordan Love and the Packers, or other regional action. Then, in America's Game of the Week, Justin Fields has been in the news this week. He and the Bears take on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, or Cowboys Cardinals. And Sunday at noon Eastern Time, Fox NFL Sunday, Derek Jeter and Patrick Mahomes with a conversation from Arrowhead Stadium. And what a neat conversation that is. We've heard a little part of that, and you're going to want to watch that. As Jeter played around the same time as Patrick Mahomes' father. His dad was a little bit older pitcher who was with the Mets in part, with the Twins as well. But a neat conversation coming up, and a game that the Bears, if they're going to be a part of this thing in the NFC, they got to stay competitive.
Yeah. A lot expected.
We've had some doozies of press conferences recently, though. Justin Fields saying that, yeah, it's coaching. When he was asked about why he was a little mechanical on the field, we had the George Kirby press conference with the Mariners recently. where he talked about not necessarily feeling like he should have gone back out.
Yeah.
People are being more open nowadays, John.
Yeah, I don't know where that's going to get him, but
2-2, swing and a miss. Strike three, breaking ball on Mauricio, and 2 down. As we mentioned, Derek Jeter, our new colleague, pinch hitting, and hanging out with Patrick Mahomes. Last time they met 23 years ago when Patrick was 5. Look at that. Noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, only on Fox. Ball 1 to Pete Alonso. Phillies took the lead in this game 2-0 in the first. Then the Mets scored 2 in the second. Phillies got 2 in the third. The Mets had 1 in the fourth. And now Suarez has retired 5 in a row. Pitch number 70 of his night.
well, he's sneaky quick. He's got that great curveball, good changeup. We talked about him doing a good job of keeping the ball in the park, but a little bit of the fly balls tonight.
2 ground ball outs until that. Trey Turner loads up a throw, and the pick at first not made by Harper. So the inning continues. Alonso is safe.
Trey Turner had an easy throw, but it just gets that in between hop. Those are the ones that even if you played a lot at first base, you're going to have a hard time judging that one. You want the real short hop or the one hop off the grass.
Like a little bit of an awkward motion from Turner on the throw. That's error number 21 for him.
Yeah, he threw a changeup. Like a 3-finger just changeup. Oh.
So the inning moves along. Here is Lindor with Alonso at first. 2 out. Fouled back 1 and 2. Trey Turner -2 outs above average so far this year. He has the most errors at shortstop in baseball. Time called before the pitch. Well, on Players Weekend, when Players Weekend existed, Lindor had Mr. Smile on the back of his jersey, but he's getting booed here in Philly. The joy doesn't radiate to other NL East cities, evidently. 1-2. That's in there. Strike 3. He planted a fastball on the inside rail, and the inning is over. Trey Turner, Alec Bohm, and then Bryce Harper. 2, 3, and 4 for the Phils. We're halfway home. Philadelphia by 1. 31-year-old Jeff Brigham on the hill, former Marlin, replaces David Peterson, who went 4 innings and gave up 4 earned runs. And that first pitch is ball 1 to Trey Turner, and the meat of the lineup for the Phillies. A lot of sliders from Brigham and 2 to start Trey Turner. He was a 2014 draft pick, Brigham was. And he was part of a 3-team deal. How about some of these names in his second year in pro ball? He was in a 3-team deal including Bronson Arroyo, Mike Morse, and Matt Latos. That's a back-in-the-day trade.
That is. That's names you recognize.
Matt Latos was a cat owner. He spelled his name M-A-T. Matt Latos. He had a cat named Cat Latos.
Whoa.
He named his cat Cat Latos. He was Matt. The cat was Cat.
Really?
Yeah. A baseball factoid you can use at your next dinner party.
There's something there.
3-2 breaking ball misses, and now Trey Turner, unencumbered by anybody in front of him on the base path, with a leadoff walk. Peterson, 4 innings.
Yeah, he had a little bit of everything. He had some dominant innings, and then he had some hard hit innings, just really not being in the strike zone early and then too much in the strike zone late.
About 27 of the 94 pitches were foul balls.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. Most of them, like that's a play you want to pitch in Oakland if that's the case.
Right. With the ample foul territory. Right field for Bohm toward foul ground, and this is out of play. Downstairs, Kenny.
Jason, 3 times tonight, Alec Bohm has taken the first pitch for a called strike, and he told me that's the thing he has improved upon most this season. There are times he'll still swing at a pitcher's pitch to begin the bat, but he's much more comfortable now getting down 0-1, waiting for a better pitch to hit.
Pitchers know that too.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. But what they also notice is how much better a breaking ball hitter he's become. And I'm still shocked at how many people try to get him out with breaking balls. Sometimes when a guy has made a conscious effort to eliminate a pitch or have numbers that he has on, you got to pitch in reverse.
Phillies have 5 2-strike hits tonight. This is fouled away. That was a slider. 5 for 14 with 2 strikes. The home run that was his. Against breaking balls this year, he's got a .284 batting average.
Yeah, I mean that's impressive. I mean that's a high average on that pitch.
He's slugging better on breaking balls than he is fastballs. High heat, 1 and 2.
And again, the byproduct of information tells you your one particular pitch is way above better average than your other pitch, meaning you're going to throw 5 sliders to a 1 guy at a time, which makes no sense to me, but that's what the game has evolved to. High spin, high velocity.
Fastball inside, strike 3.
That's how you make the adjustment against a guy who's been good against breaking balls. You have to be able to throw your fastball.
Your argument would be that there's room for throwing the same pitch over and over again if it's a really good pitch, but the end run is about deceiving the hitter.
Yeah.
Right? First pitch swing from Harper, lofted third base side, and Beatty bails. LaCastro makes a catch.
Now, I'd be mad if we didn't already have a fly ball to the third baseman. I'd say that's being a little greedy, but
fly ball bingo. We're still short the middle infield in fly ball bingo, and there's been no pop up to the catcher either.
Yeah, that's rare too.
John laid the foundation in the first inning after a number of fly balls. The first 3 outs in this game.
5 of the first 6.
5 of the first 6. First 4, 5 of the first 6. So we're playing fly out bingo. Thanks for joining us. We need the shortstop pop out, the second base pop out, the catcher. Are you including the pitcher spot?
That's the golden star. That's everybody wins.
You have a name for it?
Yeah. I mean, how many times do you see a pitcher catch a fly ball? It's almost never happens.
You know, now I'm thinking that you should probably host a game show at some point because you had a name for that so quickly. The lightning round of fly out bingo.
Yeah. If this were
the 3-point contest, had like the money ball.
Right. Or if this were a lottery, you got to hit the Powerball. The pitcher's the Powerball.
There are people tuning into their first baseball game. You know that? There are some people who've never watched baseball before, and they're saying, does this happen every night?
They're calling their doctor. Or actually calling a doctor for me.
Yeah, that could be as well. You never know. 4-3 Philadelphia, 10 games remaining for the Phillies. It never fails when we talk about something that would border on hijinks.
Yeah.
The truck puts our names up on the screen as if to say, don't worry, it's not us in here talking about it. It's them. We're separate.
And we drug Kenny into it.
That's right. Poor Kenny is down there reporting, being a fantastic reporter as he always is, and now he gets pulled into this.
I'm honored.
Sorry, Ken. You're honored.
It's all good.
Field level fly out bingo from Ken Rosenthal. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Throw to first.
Okay, because I wasn't totally locked in. Is that the second? No, that's the first throw, because first throw over to this at bat.
First throw over this at bat and this base. Yep. So you get 2 disengagements before the third one is a balk if you don't get the pickoff. That was a walking lead at that time by Turner. He didn't take off. You brought up this conversation with a couple of managers we talked to this year. Would you think about baiting the guy to run, or would you throw twice in the postseason?
That's the thing. I don't understand why. One-way leads are a thing of the past, and what a one-way lead is, you get such a big lead, but your first movement's going to be back to first. So you're baiting the pitcher to throw over because your lead is so big.
There he goes this time, and it's in the air foul.
And that used to be a common thing. So if you're a pitcher and you're looking kind of over your left shoulder to see that lead, you notice it and you go, oh man, he must be going. And so you throw over. And that was when you could throw over as many times as you want. Now you've thrown over twice, and you would think, just get a bigger one-way lead, and he's gonna maybe throw over.
It's been catch me if you can, and the answer is they can't for Trey Turner. Another foul ball, so Real Muto is going to see an 8th pitch in the sequence.
And then the other thing that managers know is they're stealing off the clock too. As the clock gets down to 3 or 2, pretty good chance he's going home with the pitch. So a lot of things to learn, a lot of things to develop next spring training. Managers and front offices will have their hands full of trying to figure out those things and combat the nuances of the rules.
2-2. Turner holds this time. It's ball 3. And as you were saying that, I was thinking about defensive linemen or blitzing linebackers who see the play clock in their peripheral or straight ahead vision, and they're using that basically as their snap count.
Right.
Base runners have done the same thing. Pitch number 9 on the way for JT Real Muto. Turner will be off with 2 out of 3-2, and it's strike 3. 9 strikeouts for Mets pitching tonight. Brigham strands Turner. 4-3 Philadelphia with the lead. Ranger Suarez is out for the 6th inning. He'll face Vientos, McNeil, and Alvarez in the Mets lineup. And Mark Vientos coming off his first career multi-homer game, and it happened at home for him. He went to American Heritage High School in the Miami area, a football powerhouse, and hit his first multi-homer game against the Marlins with friends and family there just yesterday. Cool moment for the 23-year-old. This is an interesting future for the Mets. They're trying to build some young talent on the trades they made at the deadline. We've seen a couple of the guys in the lineup today, Mauricio and Vientos at 22 and 23. Alvarez, the 21-year-old catcher, has been a stud so far this year. And we'll see what they do in the offseason.
They got to get some lightning in a bottle, and they got to get some luck in their injury department, because that has not been something that has been consistent over the last 3 years, especially to their pitching staff.
Left field. Pache is back. He's at the track. He's at the wall. This ball is gone. Vientos ties the game after 2 homers yesterday.
Well, the curveball, and he doesn't give up many of these, but he went down and got it, and he had great extension, and that ball jumped off his bat.
That pitch was 75 miles an hour out of the hand of Suarez. Popped up here, Trey Turner.
We needed it.
There's P6. Got to get the pop up to second. That was just the second home run Suarez has allowed on his curveball all year.
Yeah, his curveball has been so good, and Vientos stayed back. Even though that pitch was off speed, he stayed back and got, like I said, good barrel to the ball.
Well, if he's going to be a good bad ball hitter, Mauricio has had that reputation in the minor leagues as a very good bad ball hitter as well. Young talent for the Mets. 3 homers in his last 7 plate appearances for Mark Vientos. Born in Connecticut, raised in the Miami area. 1 and 2 on Alvarez. This Mets team expected to be a veteran-laden group at this moment. They expected to be where the Phillies are and beyond. And they're in danger of becoming the very rare team to have a losing season after a 100-plus win year.
Yeah, especially when they didn't strip anything down. They added.
They would be the 4th team in MLB history with a losing record the year after winning 100-plus games. Ever. One, 2. Wave and a miss. 2 gone. So we mentioned Vientos yesterday against a playoff possible team and a very good pitcher, Eury Perez, for the Marlins. That was a line drive, and then this one wasn't very different.
Tonight, he almost got down to a knee. Hit that ball out of the park.
And a quick selfie in the on-deck circle for the Graham.
Yeah. Can you see how much I'm enjoying that?
Yeah, no, I actually, your age was coming out of your nose.
Ooh, man.
The bat goes flying to second base. Stott has to avoid it. So did Suarez. And the out made by the Phillies infield. But Vientos deadlocks the game. We go bottom 6. Bottom 6 tied at 4. Nick Castellanos first. And a first pitch is in for a strike from Brigham, who got 3 outs after a walk in the 5th. Philadelphia needs 7 wins, regardless of what everybody else does. 7 wins gets them the 4 spot in the postseason and home games in the wild card round. Now they can have fewer wins than that in their final 10 games, but it's such a blender of tiebreakers that the most straightforward path is 7-3.
You got a long shot trying to make a historic run. Ooh.
Castellanos drills this. He knows it. Everyone knows it. 5-4. Ball just jumps off so many bats in this lineup.
Well, in Atlanta, Schwarber hit one, what, 483?
Yeah.
And that one, I mean, I haven't seen it go in the upper deck that quick here. That was smoked.
Second home run of the night for Philadelphia. Castellanos has driven in 4 of the 5. He's got 3 in his last 2 games. And now Brigham is off center.
You know, I'm not saying that I enjoyed some of the sounds when you're on the mound, but that was a sound that a hitter will remember and can't feel any better than that. That sound is explosive off the bat. And when you hear that sound, it usually doesn't come back. I mean, the ball doesn't come back.
You know it on the mound.
Oh, my goodness. This ball right here, that is just smoked. Barrel to barrel, and he's just admiring it at that point. He's like, how far is this going to go? Could he get the upper deck? Almost. Right off the facing.
Man, oh man. You were saying when he hit that home run, far be it for Nick Castellanos to interrupt the story with a home run. You remember what you were
I'm trying to remember now.
That was such a loud sound.
It totally vacated everything we were talking about.
The historic wild card run that's possible.
Oh, yeah. San Diego's. We always thought they'd be in the mix. They're on the outside. Really a long shot, but they're putting in they're trying to put together a fantastic finish. Similar to what happened when they played that unbelievable 1-game extra playoff San Diego, Colorado. I think Colorado won. Somebody won 22 of the last 23 or 24 games, some crazy number. That's what San Diego's trying to do.
It was in the mid-2000s.
Yeah.
San Diego has won 7 in a row. They play 3 with the Cardinals, 3 at the Giants, 3 at the White Sox. It's a favorable schedule. They would have to probably go 8-1 or 9-0, but they're only 4.5 back. A lot of teams to jump over. There's a line drive to left field. Thunder from the Phillies in the bottom of the order. Let's go to Los Angeles in a game break. Chris Myers. Chris, thank you very much. There's the list, and this, as of the other day, was 6 teams for 3 spots, but San Diego has force-fed itself into at least the conversation for a couple of days.
Yeah, Arizona did themselves a huge favor. I mean, to win a 4-game series is tough against anybody, but to beat the Cubs in the fashion they did, a lot of close games, they leapfrogged and put themselves in a strong position. Now the Cubs are looking to hang in there and try to survive the stretch run, which includes Atlanta and Milwaukee. But when you look at it 2 weeks ago as a Cubs fan, you go, okay, Atlanta will have everything locked up. Milwaukee will have everything locked up. We're good. Maybe.
Infield corners are in. Pache will bunt. And he pops it up. Down toward the mound. Now everybody's got to run. Pache is running. The throw into second base does get the out. So the runners had to hold there. Rojas thrown out at second base. There was nobody covering third for a throw from Alvarez. You're really caught in between a rock and a hard place if you're the base runners there.
Yeah, for sure. And they're going to check on Alvarez because he slipped when he made this throw and may have kind of wrenched his lower back. I thought the pitcher had it. Watch him slip right there. He makes an incredible throw, but he came up kind of grabbing his lower back. When this was popped up, you know what I was thinking about? Fly ball, bingo.
Yeah.
That didn't happen, but that throw at least allowed the force to be in play and the double play still intact.
The one that almost hurt was Pache wasn't really running out of the box. And if Rojas decides to chance it, the play would have been at first base.
Yeah, those are the plays I'm telling you, as a pitcher, you kind of dream of. To think if the pitcher could have got in there and got to a better position, he could have maybe turned two. Because your point is the runner, if he's not running, you got a chance to turn two. Because the reason runner's not running, he's like, oh, I popped it up, that's going to be an out.
Right. And in that situation, it happens to be one of those spots where you're the only guy who knows he can run.
Correct.
So if you don't, you create a play that probably wouldn't have been there. Runners at the corners. Schwarber, the batter. Beatty playing in at third in this defensive alignment.
Phillies are trying to get their third two-run lead of the game.
2-0 and 4-2 already. The bullpen has been an issue this year for the Mets, not by their own doing. They're 22nd in relief ERA. The Edwin Diaz injury is one of the biggest injuries in Major League Baseball this year that happened in the World Baseball Classic. He didn't go, says Edwin Jimenez over at third.
That's an injury where you go, oh, okay, we'll overcome it, we'll overcome it. Everybody knew that was going to be tough. That's an emotional, that's your lockdown closer. And from that injury, it almost seemed like that season was going to be doomed. And unfortunately, it did end up that way for the Mets.
2-1 breaking ball, clipped the corner. Schwarber has not liked that outside edge all day long. The Mets had to restock the closer position. Edwin Diaz will not pitch this year. The hope is he can have a full offseason and be ready full go next year, as that's fouled straight back. You look prepared.
I was. I'm just totally different now. I came here to the park with the anticipation that it would not happen again.
You're still transforming as a player, as an announcer.
Yeah.
2-2. Stott at third. Pache at first. Breaking ball. Did he go? Once again, he did not.
Well, on another note, similar situation, the Baltimore Orioles were going to be considered one of the favorites in the American League. And the big reason they were one of the favorites is because they had a closer that was as dominant as you can get. And he, unfortunately, doesn't look good for him this year and maybe even next year.
Felix Bautista has become the talk of that town. They are down 2-0. Minnesota hoping to clinch the Central tonight with Cleveland and the magic number being 1. Pache runs. That's strike 3. It's a stolen base, but it's also out number 2.
Three true outcomes are the name of the game for Schwarber. He's got 4 of them, unfortunately, with 3 Ks.
Mets will go deeper into the bullpen. 2nd and 3rd for the Phils. 2 out when we come back. To be involved in the NL East race as of today, that's not the case. We talked about it. The injured knee in the World Baseball Classic that blew up Buck Showalter's phone overnight. 4.5 runs a game, bottom 5 in the National League. The offense just has not been what they hoped. Then they had to divest themselves of so much talent at the deadline. And now it's rebuild mode, as you see the difference a year makes.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is. And again, one will never know if they kept everything together where they would be in this crazy wild card race, but they basically paid a lot of money for potential young players that hopefully will develop into big leaguers.
That's the plan. Grant Hartwig, the new pitcher for Buck Showalter. Limbo for Trey Turner, who's walked twice tonight. A couple of guys on the Mets have talked about this, that you have 162 games for everything to even out, but some seasons you only have 100 because you hit that deadline and it's an artificial junction point. You have to make a choice.
Yeah, and I kind of see both sides of the argument, but I had a hard time believing that's what they were going to do. They were stuck in quicksand, so they had to do something, and they went in this direction, and we'll see what happens. And the flip side is the Angels did everything you could possibly could and then released all the players they traded them for.
And then some.
It's unbelievable. Probably won't have one of their superstars, and there's a chance they may not have either one of them if they decide to trade Mike Trout.
It's amazing the peaks and valleys of an Angels fan in the last 2 months. 2-2. Ground ball first base. Alonso with the feed, Hartwig the catch, and that is that. But the big swing in the inning, Nick Castellanos nearly into the upper deck seats. Loud noises, 5-4, the bat dancing the night away. Live baseball real-time highlights, pitch-by-pitch updates faster than ever. Get personalized highlight reels based on the players you follow every day. Download the MLB app today. You can go multi-screen experience with, say, this game in Baltimore-Cleveland. If you want to watch the possible 1 seed in the American League, the Orioles are down 2-0 in the 7th inning. Cleveland trying to hang on to the hopes that they could win out and Minnesota would lose out, but the Twins will clinch. Their magic number is at 1 in the AL Central to be that 3 seed. Well, Castro goes down on 3 pitches. Suarez remains in after a career high, a season high 106 last time.
Great change up. His buttons are coming undone. I'm kind of shocked. They're very particular to my buttons.
You are?
Well, I mean, just that look right there would feel different, feel more air.
There's a strike. The buttons on Rojas's jersey actually in center field have become a conversation piece, because when he was down in the minors, he would unbutton the top button, and when he showed up for his debut, he was all buttoned up. And then Castellanos went over to him at one point early on in his career, and he said, no, unbutton the top button if that's the way you want to play.
Yeah, but this is like 3 buttons here for Suarez.
You got a problem with that?
I mean,
they're his buttons.
I know, but you got a T-shirt and chain and.
Just relax.
Do you think he knows?
Yes, I'm sure he does. It's comfortable for him. Let him be comfortable. It's his choice. How would you like if I told you what buttons to button?
Well, you know, pitchers can't wear certain sleeves. They can't have a certain glove color. Okay. This could be a new weapon. You get a psychedelic shirt or something and get the hitters to see that.
I believe the T-shirt has to be within team colors. There's ball
I don't
4.
know. I've seen some sleeves and some shoes that aren't following team colors on other teams.
What are you? You're the uniform investigative unit? What are you?
I'm just telling you, I've seen it. Like,
I understand.
I've seen it.
It sounded a lot like you're looking for it.
See, look there. That's a bright yellow. You couldn't have that as a pitcher.
Okay. Here's Mauricio going after the first pitch down the right field side. He is double parked out there outside Citizens Bank. He made an out on the first 2 pitches he saw tonight, a fly out to left, a fly out to center, then a 5-pitch strikeout in the 5th. His button's okay? Just want to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
Run it by you.
Position players, they can have their.
Okay. On the ground, second base. Stott on the approach, on the tag, and now it's a wrestling match. The ball came out, but that's an out anyway. I believe he had the tag. Now there was just this collision. Stott's saying he interfered.
Yeah, he's saying he grabbed him.
Rob Thompson will come out. Buck Showalter says, no, hang on. Let's watch. Was there anything untoward from Nimmo here?
Well, he slides, and then he grabs him, right? He hooks his arm. Yeah.
Now the umpires will talk.
This is the right play to slide. Well,
I don't know.
No, I guess not. I guess not. He didn't take that back. He didn't do anything other than just slide. That's what you got to do as a base runner. You got to slide. You got to make the fielder tag. Sometimes when you see the runner slide, you go to first, and you have time to get him at second because he slided. He slid halfway. Slided. Nice word.
It's all right. Maybe worry about your grammar instead of the buttons. The question would be, would you call it a double play? But it doesn't look like there was anything untoward.
Right. He slides right here. I thought maybe for an instant he grabbed the.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, because I saw it too. He brought his right arm into his chest, but it didn't. On a second look, it didn't look like he grabbed it.
Right.
It looked like he just kind of moved his arm like he was going to.
Yeah,
would you agree with that?
Correct.
Now Rob Thompson's going to divert and go out to the mound. And here comes Buck Showalter to talk about it as well. Suarez will come out. There's 2 out in the inning. Mauricio is safe at first. The other option would be a 4-6-3 double play there. He went at the runner instead. And so the inning will continue in the top of the 7th as the Phillies go into the bullpen for the first time.
Set a timer for 10 minutes.
New pitcher for the Phillies, Jeff Hoffman. He's quite a story. Comes to Citizens Bank Park in late April. He's a AAA at the time with several other pitchers. Their task was to throw batting practice to Bryce Harper, who was still recovering from Tommy John surgery. Hoffman had a May 1st opt-out. He also had an offer from Japan, but he looked great that day, prompting Harper to turn to the Phillies officials in attendance and say, "What are we doing? Why isn't he here?" Soon after, he was.
Hey, Bryce says so. You never know when you might get noticed. Great story there.
It's a good endorsement to have from that player. But this is part of the intrigue of the Philadelphia bullpen. You wouldn't know it by his stats. He throws primarily all sliders. He throws 99 miles an hour. So he doesn't throw many fastballs because he loves that slider, and that slider rates good in the spin department.
Alonso frustrated. You could hear it. Fly ball to right. Castellanos makes the catch. And the inning's over. Stretch time. Philadelphia has the lead behind Suarez. Is sponsored by Geico. It's easy to Geico. Beautiful night in Philadelphia, about 70 degrees at first pitch. And the Phillies behind Rangers. Suarez 6 2/3. He gave up 4, but he does leave with the lead and the length that Rob Thompson was looking for.
Yeah, it's absolutely shortens that bullpen's job. And you know, when the Phillies made their run last year and went to the World Series, a big byproduct of that season was their starters threw a lot of innings, which kept their bullpen fresher. Well, that hasn't quite been the case this year. And that bullpen, with all the potential, could use some freshness when it gets to the postseason. 7 innings, the magic number for postseason, I think. You get 7 innings, and you're going to have a great chance of winning those particular games.
Good breaking ball from Hartwig, 1-2 for Bohm. Saw Kimbrel getting loose. This bullpen for the Phillies, 8th in baseball in ERA. It's a big strikeout bullpen. As we talked about, the stuff in there is electric. One, 2. Fastball, nasty. Strike 3. 1 away. Let's get to Chris Myers in the studio for a game break. Chris. They finally hit a home run. They were so starved for home runs, John.
Yeah, they were going to have one of those rare victories that didn't include a home run. You talk about teams that can hit a home run. We know this team can, Philadelphia, but Atlanta's got a chance to shatter the all-time record.
Home runs this year, top 3 are in the National League, 2 are in this ballpark. And Matt Olson breaking Andrew Jones's record for Atlanta home runs in a single season as Harper rejects the idea that that was a strike, and so do the crowd voices behind him. Former National Bryce Harper takes high. You knew somebody was going to say it, right? Is that a strike 2? Somebody always says it.
Fans won't get kicked out. Managers can't say that anymore.
Pitchers probably shouldn't either.
You know, you miss the days of pitchers being able to kind of make nice with the umpires when they used to hit. You yell on the mound, you think you see a strike, you kind of you come to the plate and you go, my bad, Blue, I'm sorry, I'm a little cranky today, and don't pay attention to me out on the mound.
You did that?
Oh yeah.
Strike 3, 12 strikeouts from Met pitchers tonight. Did umpires really listen to you?
Oh yeah, yeah, they were like, hang in there, we know you're grinding. A couple times you get in at 4 or 5 in the morning, which by the way, I think the Mets did.
They did.
To get here, so you get a little cranky.
And then sometimes you're standing in the batter's box, you're talking to the umpire, and you get hit by a pitch, and you go down like so hard that it ends up on Twitter and everything.
It sure did. It sure did. I mean, I got hit in the kidney. I mean, not many people get hit in the kidney.
You don't have to relive it with me. It was just going to be an aside, but if you want to dive into it, we can. 0-1. It's downstairs.
I took a dive. That's for sure.
True, you did. 1 ball, 1 strike on Real Muto. Saw Kimbrel up and loosening. Consistency from his spot in the bullpen is something Rob Thompson's hoping for.
Normally you'd see him get ready for the 9th.
He might have gone. He did.
Yes, he did.
1-2. Well, you heard Chris mention what the Braves are doing tonight. They have clinched the NL East. Pittsburgh still leading the Cubs in Chicago 3-0, which would be helpful to so many in the wild card race, including Philadelphia. The more losses they see from other teams, the quicker they can get that 4 spot. Again, the best way they can do it is win 7. They do have the tiebreaker over Arizona with 3 straight wins to close that season series.
You know, and I know there's always questions that nobody's going to answer if you're in a situation like Philadelphia. Who would you rather play, given the fact that they're in the postseason? I don't think the teams that are behind them matter that much to them. I know that Diamondbacks would be an issue for anybody.
Lindor at shortstop throws out Real Muto. 1-2-3 inning for Hartwig. We'll go to the 8th in a 1-run game. Top of the 8th inning. Here's your game summary. Castellanos has driven in 4. Suarez was very good. Jeff McNeil trying to keep the Mets afloat. And you handle the last one.
Well, fly out bingo. I don't think we're going to get there, but you know what we need? We need the pitcher, the catcher, and the second baseman.
A lot of flyouts.
Catch a pop-up, soft liner, counts. Anything that's got an arc to it.
It's all that matters. As Craig Kimbrell is in. That was a nasty breaking ball he just threw to Lindor. 400+ career saves for Kimbrell. As the Phillies look to the postseason, the Mets, a lot of talk about Buck Showalter and the situation moving forward. Francisco Lindor said, look, it shouldn't even be a question about Buck Showalter coming back in the manager's office. Oh. 2-1. Any thoughts?
I think it's what a player tells you is what the clubhouse feels, and I think Buck Showalter was brought here to do something. He did it last year, didn't quite go as far, and then this year I don't think you could put on him.
Center field falling quickly, down for a base hit. Lindor is on for Vientos, who homered last time. Ken, what do you have?
I tend to agree with John and Francisco Lindor, but you have a different dynamic coming in here. David Stearns, president of baseball operations. Craig Counsell, manager of the Brewers. Stearns, former manager. Free agent at the end of the season, unsigned beyond this year. If Counsell wants to leave Milwaukee, if Stearns wants to hire him, then this could get interesting.
Yeah, a lot at play. But as you said, John, when the players talk like that, especially one of the leaders in the clubhouse, you at least have to listen.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, all these evaluations, everything, every player, every personnel gets, whoa, that's 96 over to Harper, is got to get evaluated, and they always do. And they try to figure out how can they get better, what do they need. And this is not a byproduct of anything other than everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
There goes Lindor. He's got it stolen. It's a take for Vientos. That was as clean of a steal as you're ever going to see.
Yeah, again, these are things we talked about earlier that will be addressed. Last year, no one would have taken these bases in late innings because they valued them too much. Now, I mean, you'd be crazy not to.
Career high 30 steals now for Lindor, his second in the game. This fly ball to the right hand side, Castellanos into foul territory, and he will not have a play. What you said about the word value, though, resonates with the conversation we had with Buck Showalter, who has a notebook full of things that he might change for next year simply based on the rules and what we've seen and how the game's played this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that notebook has a lot of thought process behind it and a game plan I'm sure he's already got in mind to execute.
He had it on the railing in front of him earlier in the ball game. Pen sticking out.
Yeah.
Taking notes in game. Kimbrel wants a strikeout. He's got it. Fastball to Vientos.
Well, this is a big strikeout. I mean, a one-run game here in the 8th. Normally it's the 9th that he comes in to deal with it. Kimbrel, to me, has always been, if he's throwing his fastball anywhere close to where he wants to, he's virtually unhittable. But if he gets out of the strike zone, then he gives the hitter a chance.
There's ball one on McNeil. 417 saves all time. That is 8th on the all-time list. Left side, base hit. And Lindor is going to hold it third. Pache's throw to the plate, so they didn't want to chance it. Joey Cora and the Mets decide to hold the phone first and third as he got it past Turner at shortstop.
This is how easy he can make it. When he's going good, McNeil plays pepper with the catcher, pepper with the pitcher, meaning he's going to hit it where he needs to hit it. He takes a fastball, doesn't try to do too much, knows he's got room over there, and beats the shortstop. And now the Mets are in a great place to possibly tie the game and take the lead. That's the kind of hands that McNeil has, and he's trending in the right direction coming off of last year, of course. 320 something batting average.
Infield in, one out, runners at the corners. Alvarez, first pitch popped up. Bryce Harper makes the catch, 2 down. McNeil well off of first. There was nobody covering with Harper fielding the pop-up. There are 2 away for Beatty's spot.
Yeah, that is a huge understated statement of an out, because that pitch just ran inside and he popped it up, trying to get the ball to the outfield. Huge out.
They have 5 left-handers available on the bench. There goes McNeil. He takes second base, and so that could be important in case of a base hit here. The Mets may take the lead.
I'm telling you, I've been in this role and knowing what in the reliever's role, how hard it is to get 3 hits off a guy. Now they only have to get a couple and they're going to take the lead.
2-0 on Beatty.
And what I mean by that is that's not even a threat. They weren't even trying to defend that base. That was like saying, hey, McNeil, go to second, hang out there. Like that would drive me crazy if I couldn't control that part of the game, and I put myself in a tougher spot to get outs.
Now it's 2-0 after that, and a swing and a miss. 2-1. Vogelbach on deck, the big power hitter. He got a very small piece of that bait. He did. 2-1. That's foul off of him. 2-2. What's your choice here if you're Kimbrel?
Well, he established his fastball there, and that power breaking ball back foot would be enticing. But at the same time, you got a man at third, and you got to trust you're going to make that pitch, and your catcher's going to block it. So he can elevate the fastball, but that power breaking ball will be awfully tough to hit if he throws it on the back foot.
2-2. He struck him out. Breaking ball in the zone. Inning over. Pop out strikeout. Kimbrel maintains the lead. Sponsored by Capital One. What's in your wallet? 2023 Roberto Clemente Award presented by Capital One recognizes a player who truly represents the game through positive contributions on and off the field. Learn more about the nominees and vote today. Scan the QR code or visit MLBtogether.com/Clemente21. The nominee for the Mets, Francisco Lindor. For the Phillies, announced before the game here to a massive roar, Kyle Schwarber. And an award that means a lot to guys in Major League Baseball, in my experience. That's leveled to second base. And Mauricio takes care of Castellanos, who for the first time tonight does not drive in a run.
Yeah, he hit it hard, but right at somebody. And you're right, it is the greatest non-baseball driven award that you can get, because it's a lifetime of only getting it once, and it's a lifetime of what Roberto Clemente meant to the game off the field as much as he meant on the field.
There's a civic duty, you know, as a player, as a prominent person. I know you're very aware of this, and you were very engaged in the community, still are, but that's part of this game.
Yeah, and not everybody handles it.
This to left field. And out number 2 as LeCastro gets over.
because what comes with that is somewhat of an innate upbringing of you understand your platform and what you can do to enhance, bring, lighten a cause. We play a great game, and we played it for a long time, but the reality of things that go away from the game, you have a chance to impact. And there's so many great causes. Once you align yourself with one of them, it has an opportunity to grow.
Very well said. The ball one to Rojas. Saw Jose Alvarado getting loose, and now that we're starting to move toward playoff time, you see guys going back to back. They both, Kimbrel and Alvarado, pitched yesterday for the Phillies. And yes, there are off days baked into these series, but you're going to have to pitch back to back.
Yeah, you have to, and that's another part of the training that has changed. Part of that's because of the velocity and the amount of pitches guys throw in each game, which limits their use, honestly. You know, if you come in and you can get it done, but in 25 pitches, you're only going maybe twice in a row. And if you get 15 or less, you can pitch 3, 4, 5 games in a row. That doesn't happen anymore. So those off days, the strategy of the bullpen, you need more arms to get it done. And to be effective, you've got to have 3 dynamic guys in your bullpen to go all the way, in my opinion.
Well, there are dynamic arms in that bullpen.
Oh, you drool when you see the stuff.
Strike 3 on a fastball. Hartwig has faced 7 batters. They've all made outs. 9-1-2 for the Mets. Next, down 1. So Kimbrel got him through the 8th. Jose Alvarado for the Phillies here in the 9th. He has 8 saves this year. He'll face 9-1-2 in the Mets order. A lot of sinkers from Alvarado. The cutter paired with it. First pitch is a strike. One of those sinkers.
Yeah, he just has a unique gift, and when he's throwing strikes, good luck. He is. Maybe doesn't have as much of that same nasty movement that he used to, but whew.
Well, when he first started, and that cutter is an example, some of the pitches looked like they needed an exorcism.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it wasn't even fair, and it didn't seem real. But he's changed directions, and a hitter looking for 98 and seeing the ball disappear with that cutter.
0-2 on LeCastro. And it struck him out. Busted him with a cutter. Saturday on Fox, Pac-12 triple header. UCLA and Utah, 3:30 Eastern time. Then Oregon State, Washington State in a huge matchup in the Pac-12 as well. USC on the road at Arizona State with Kenny Dillingham, the first-year head coach there. 3 tremendously interesting games in the Pac-12.
Isn't that ironic? The Pac-12 might be the best it's ever been. Now they're not going to be no Pac-12 next year.
That might be the best collection of quarterbacks
yeah.
we've ever seen in a conference in college football.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah, Oregon State and Washington State playing as leftovers, but 2 top 25 teams. 1-0 for Nimmo. That's below the zone. A sinker. 2-0. Phillies are the 4th seed right now, the National League wild card. 7 wins, clinches that 4th seed, among other options. There's a strike, 2-1. In the air, right field side, way back there, and 1 hop off the wall past Castellanos. So Nimmo, lefty, has a 1-out double.
That was some pretty good hitting right there to take this pitch and to get power and the gap. That's getting it done there for off a tough pitcher in Alvarado.
Here's the thing, Rob Thompson used Kimbrel in the 8th inning in part because it was the meat of the order. 4, 5, 6 coming up, high leverage spot. 2 guys reach, so now Alvarado is going to have to face some of those same guys here possibly. As there's strike 1, another first pitch swing by Mauricio. And there is Pete Alonso on deck. 2 strikes. Mauricio off his shoe. And that stings. Well, you said it earlier. Foul a ball off your foot. Can you stay back better?
Yeah. This one. That one really hurts. I mean, there's off the pad, off the toe.
Buck Showalter comes out. Mauricio trying to walk it off. Hey, suit up at MLBshop.com. Check out the largest selection of authentic caps, t-shirts, collectibles, and more. Gear up with your favorite team at MLBshop.com. Okay, so you know he's in pain. You're Alvarado. What's on the menu here?
Cutter down and in. I mean, just go right back there.
He did.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you can go even further in. It's 0-2. You can go right back there and bounce it because he does not want. He was close to doing it again. He does not want to foul another one off his foot.
In the air, center field. Rojas is underneath. He makes the catch. Nimmo won't tag. 2 away in this series opener in the 9th. Now, Alonso here, Lindor next. How do you deal with this?
Yeah, you know, these situations here when you're trying to close out a game and they're going to get that meeting to talk about what I think they would say is, look, be super aggressive in your pitches out of the zone. If he chases, he chases. But we will have to attack the next hitter if we get well, we get a count we don't like, because this is obviously their power guy and the base is open. So that's how I would attack. I mean, you're going to feed off the aggressiveness of the hitter, and if you're going to do that, you don't throw many strikes.
Would it change your calculus if I told you Lindor is 5 for 10 against Alvarado all time? Just 10 at bats.
Yeah, in that case, I wouldn't tell him to be careful. I would either take his choice out of his hands and say, we're going to walk him. So if you trust your guy to throw your nasty pitches down and maybe cutters at his feet, then go get him.
See how aggressive he is out of the zone to Pete Alonso. First pitch, 100 away. Is that the type of pitch you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna, if this pitch doesn't go well and it's 2-0, it might change the entire approach on not pitching to him anymore.
Fouled straight back at 100.
That was just up enough to where he didn't square it up.
Nimmo at second. In for a strike. They've all been triple digits.
Wow, he's going gas.
Here comes Philly.
I'm actually shocked that Nimmo has stayed at second base. They're not really holding him on. And if he was standing at third base right now, think of the pressure it would be on the catcher on a ball in the dirt.
Instead, runner at second. 1-2 with 2 out. He got him! Phillies win 5-4.
That was the nasty cutter. I thought I'd see a couple of those. We saw one of them, and it was the best timed one after he got 2 strikes on Alonso.
Phillies bullpen, John, 2 1/3. No runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts.
Yeah, and this was nasty. I mean, hard to lay off, hard to hit. If the Phillies get their top 3 guys going in the pen, watch out. I'm telling you, seen it last year. Phillies are trying to bank at least 4 more wins to give themselves a legitimate chance to host here at home. I know the number was now 6.
6 now. 6 wins will get them there. Scary team. John, always a pleasure. 5-4 Phillies with the win over the Mets, and now they're plus 4.5 in terms of getting into the postseason. But you see why tonight, right? You see why home field matters here once again.
Absolutely. And this was about half full tonight. This place is rocking when it's capacity.
So we say farewell from Philadelphia for our producer Pete Macheska, our director Matt Gangle, and our entire wonderful crew: Ken Rosenthal, John Smoltz, Jason Benetti. Coming up next, we send it back to the LA studio. Chris Myers, post-game coverage right after these messages.